We're live, Mr. Wade. Good, good night, Belizeans at home and abroad. My name is Leonard Brackett. I'll be your temporary chairman for tonight until our regular chairman shows up. And as usual, this is the Belizean Affairs Show number 254. 254. We are grateful for the privilege to have gotten this far, and for those who have been on the ride with us, we hope that you are deriving some public benefit, positive public benefit from this endeavor. We'll start the show as we normally do. I'll go ahead and say a little prayer, and then I'll pass it over to Mr. Wade, who is on board with us tonight, our next senior panelist, and he will do a short reading for us. And if chairman doesn't show up, then he will just kick it back to me temporarily for us to indulge in some specific and more and very interesting and important dialogue between myself and Mr. Wade until the chairman shows up. Then the chairman will decide how he wants to run his show. But in the interest of timeliness, we'll just move forward. I'll bow my head and proceed with a short prayer. Divine loving Father, once again we come before thy presence to ask that thou would continue to have mercy upon us. You know that we are undeserving sinners, and we come before thee to ask for thy bountiful blessings and thy mercies, for thy love, for thy care, for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from us as well as the people that partake in our program, as well as our family members, friends, and loved ones, wherever they are. You know them by name and number. Please continue to be merciful unto them as well. We pray that thou mayest bless our country of Belize, its people and leadership, and that thou would bless this country of the United States, its people and leadership as well. We pray that thou mayest continue to give us additional reprieve from these wars and rumors of wars and hurricanes and flooding and fires and all manner of devastation. We know that when the time is near, all manner of pestilence will be let loose on the face of this earth. But as we go around enduring these problems, trials, and tribulations, Lord, we pray that thou will continue to abide with us and help us to survive the process. Please continue to abide with us now and always, for we ask these mercies in Jesus' name. Amen. I yield to you, Mr. Wade.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Leonard.
You're welcome, sir.
It's always a pleasure to sit in your company, my brother.
The pleasure is mine too, Mr.
Um,
Wade.
we have the chairman for tonight, Mr. Gregory Brackett, in the back there.
Oh,
He
okay,
just,
okay.
but
He probably
Mr.
heard.
Chairman, tonight I want to just ask you that permission so I could continue on the reading.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Wade, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Uh, I
Oh,
wonder if he
Mr.
was in the
Chairman for
background.
tonight.
If
Yeah.
he was, uh, I wonder if he was in the background listening to us conspiring to to gobble up some of your time. I yield back, sir. I was just trying to banter a little. Mr.
Yes.
Wade.
I can continue, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. I'll read from John chapter 1, John 1, 1 chapter 1, 1 to 10. It reads, that which was from the beginning, which we have heard, which we have seen with our eyes, which we looked upon and have touched with our hands concerning the word of life. The life was made manifest, and we have seen it, and testify to it, and proclaim to you the eternal life, which was with the Father and was made manifest to us. That which we have seen and heard, we proclaim also to you, so that you may, so that so that you too may have fellowship with us. And indeed, our fellowship is with the Father and with his Son, Jesus Christ. And we are writing these things so that our joy may be complete. This is the message we have heard from him and proclaim to you, that God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. If we say we have fellowship
Yes.
with him while we walk in darkness, we lie and do not practice the truth. But if we walk in light as he is in the light, we have fellowship with one another. And the blood of Jesus, his Son, cleanse us from all sin. If we say we have no sin, we deceive ourselves, and the truth is not in us. If we confess our sin, he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. If we say we have not sinned, we make him a liar, and his word is not in us. That's my reading from John 1, chapter 1 to 10. Back to you, Mr. Chairman, as I know you have something very interesting for our listening and viewing public. Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. Good night to the people at home and abroad. We thank you for tuning in to this, our 254th episode of Belizean Affairs. I thank you guys for sitting with me virtually. You
Welcome,
both
sir.
are highly appreciated. Tonight, gentlemen and people at home and abroad, I again want to show to you, the people, what is happening in the country of Belize. And I want you to see that when we sit on this platform at nights, 3 days a week, and what we present to you is exactly what is happening out there. This is why we always show and tell. Now, I will draw your attention to couple things that we said, but first I will go to the video. Gentlemen sitting with me, kindly listen keenly to the video because there is two things in there that I want to prove to the people at home and abroad tonight. Let's go to the video.
The opposition is in terrible shape. However, the Prime Minister intends to call elections. However, it's not that simple.
Yeah.
Because Jerry Enriquez and the two other claimants, they will, with the advice of attorney Anand Ramlogan, they are moving quite judiciously to block an election without redistricting. And this is consequential because, well, first of all, Mr. Ramlogan, I need to explain a little about his background. He's a former Attorney General of Trinidad, and he came to Belize seeking public interest litigation. I think the only way I can say it, he wants to make good trouble for the government or for whichever authority, and it's not because he's opposition or funded by Ashcroft or anything like that. It is because, you know, he is in the He's in the latter part of his career, and he wants to he wants to
Okay.
surge the system.
Okay.
uh, in other territories in the Caribbean as well, and he has a number of young attorneys working with him. And he's created a very interesting strategy here in Belize, right? That what he's attempting to do is to cordon in the government, slowly limit their options. Because remember, the Constitution says the constituencies should be equal or as close to equal as possible.
Yep.
We have the opposite of that, right? We have 10,000 people plus in certain constituencies and 2,000 plus on the 2,500 in Mesopotamia,
Yes.
for example. And Attorney Ram Logan is moving very deliberately to tell the government before the parliament is dissolved, you can't do this. Now, the last time the Belize Peace Movement brought a motion in 2020, the court told them it's too late. Parliament is already dissolved because they were trying to get an injunction to block the election. And the court, Michelle Arana said, too late, Parliament is dissolved. Fair enough. And so that is why they are moving right now with expedition
I can see that. Okay.
to try and plug all the holes. They have advised the Governor General, please don't do it. It would be against the letter of the Constitution and the spirit of your office to uphold the laws of Belize. He has written to the Speaker of the House, to the Chairman, Elections and Boundaries, to the Prime Minister, a battery of correspondence has gone out. And they will, I believe, try to seek an injunction to block the Prime Minister from advising the Governor General to dissolve the Parliament. And it is only right because the political status quo, the PUDP in this country, have ensured that we have grossly unequal political constituencies, and they do this to preserve the political status quo, which keeps them in office. It is no coincidence that the sons of two former prime ministers hold two of the most malapportioned seats in the country.
Okay.
That is Fort George and Mesopotamia. And the former prime minister's sister was the representative for the other most malapportioned constituency, Queen Square. Any objective outsider, any computer, any AI could quickly come up with how these constituencies should be developed, should be apportioned. However, that will never be done. In fact, a report has been prepared by an outsider, an expert, Mr. Sean Trent, but that will never be done because you must preserve the political status quo. You can't take away Fort George from Henry. You can't take away Mesopotamia from Shine. You can't take away Queen Square from Sister B, because these are the garrisons.
Yeah.
And those must be protected. So that is why political inequality persists in open and naked defiance of the Constitution. And this is the point that we always make. Political parties are only interested in winning the next election. They don't give a damn about the Constitution of Belize. That's just an inconvenient.
Give them twice as much.
Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you, people at home and abroad. There is three things from this tape that I want to speak about that will enlighten you, the public at home and abroad, as to what is happening in our country. The first one is the Belizean Constitution. The second one is that the redistricting can be done. We have mentioned it right here on Belizean
Explain it.
Affairs, and we
Explain it.
have showed a video as to how it can be done. And
Mm-hmm.
here we go. We had Mr. Vasquez just mention it again this morning on the beef that it can be done if they really wanted to do it. But also, he mentioned about the status quo, which is the privilege of former prime minister's son. But I will say this, I believe it goes beyond that. I believe that the present government is taking this country really to the left. And without the knowledge of the people, they are highly bent and changing us into a new identity, giving us a new identity, and making this country a republic. Mr. Wade, I go to you first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is something, my people, both at home and abroad, that we have been talking for some while now. Same uh, situation at hand. Um, Over a year now, we have been, or maybe we go way back a little bit farther, right? But I just would say over a year now, we have been beating this. Um, like I said on the last show that um, I welcome and we welcome other people to join in on in our cause, right? Like I welcome more and more people. I as long as they they go through the right procedure. I think that we have the government really have to answer then at some point as to why they do not want to do redistricting. And it's all about, it's so simple, my people. You know, you listen to Mr. Jules this morning. The chairman played it, and it's plain and simple. It's all about how they win election and how the country is. It's not about the people, right? It's about them. It's about them getting the power. It's about them getting always ahead. Them, the PUP and the UDP. Who want to give up their 2,000 people? Shine, very big man, leader of, well, I don't know which one of, let me take that back. The UDP, um, uh, Sister B, a couple of thousand people, um, Kareem Musa and the other Henry Charles, right? And others have these small little, and I'm not talking nothing out of the other. It's there who want to, see what I'm talking about. Go to the election and boundary, and they will provide you with what you want to know. They'll show you which constituency have so much voters, and which one have so much, and which one have so much, and then you will see the inequality. And then, so sadly, Mr. Chairman, and the constituency that has these unequal, little over 2,000 people, these people hold the biggest power in this country. Compared to like myself, that's want to contest Cairo Central with over must be 9,000 by now, compared to 2,000. Is that is that and compared to Henry Charles constituency compared to Karimusa constituency, and you see the power these people have. You see all the laws they pass against you, right? You see the stick they carry in this country. Huh? Do you think they want to do that? No, they will kick the ball along the way. So I just hope that at some point in time, myself and the Belize peace movement have our day in court, and actually take our court, take our suit, you know, to be heard. We know that the courts are there, Mr. Chairman and Leonard, to protect our constitution, right? The court is there to uphold the law, right? So let's see where that will take us. And again, Mr. Chairman, before I hand it back over, I welcome, you know, all Belizeans to stand up on this cause because it directly affects you, right? We, that is, the man said we are taking him to court. No, I am not taking that man to court. I am taking the government. He just happened to be the leader of this country. So she has to answer why he do not want to do redistricting. And it's so simple. And all we're asking him, do it before the next general election. You have held two illegal elections already that put some very people in high position to govern us illegally. That's in my case, they got elected illegally, right? And I would want to say that those elections should be recalled, right? It's only right because it's illegal, right? The Constitution says we should have equal representation or near as equal, right? Not that big unequality, no, man. Man, all we're asking this man to do, and like you said, Mr. Chairman, we cannot force that man. He's the leader of this country. But again, if he call an election tomorrow, in my view, it will be illegal. Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. I go to you, Mr. Brackett.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Uh, with your permission, Mr. Chairman, I would like to read this little thing that I put together regarding this same matter.
Go ahead,
I
sir.
don't know if you want me to wait until you play
No,
that
go
particular
ahead,
tape,
sir.
if it's going to be played, or maybe. Okay, I'll just. Um, I put this little following. The following comments were made by Leonard Brackett on a Facebook post by G. Brack about Section 90, and to show the redivisioning how easy it would be to do it if the government really wants to fulfill their obligation and get it done. So I titled the commentary Section 90 uh, Divisioning with Maptitude, which is the name of a particular program that the chairman had played in our last Friday meeting. And it's a computer program that allows for people who deal in statistics and electioneering and other things such as those to be able to manipulate numbers, areas, as in mapping the same areas according to the numbers, and other issues, because it generates a whole lot of other pro, reports as well as just the mapping and the redivisioning itself. It gives reports in regards to amount of people in the division, ages of people in the division, you know, um, uh, male or female, and a whole lot of stuff. But let me just go on because I don't want to abuse the chairman's graciousness by allowing me to read this stuff. As per the Maptitude for Elections program or sample, which was presented last Friday as I stipulated by our current chairman, it may be possible to do 31 Belizean election divisions in less than 6 hours by one person. In other words, Mr. Mr. Mai, the head of the Election and Boundaries Department, can sit in her chair for about 6 minutes and do the whole damn thing. Of course, she has a whole lot of extra support staff who can assist her, which will make it much easier on her if she wants to do it with additional assistance. But she can do it at the level of her competence and knowledge. She should be able to sit down and use that same program my cousin, tonight's chairman, had presented to us last Friday, and do that same thing in less than 6 hours. And I'll show you how, right here and now. As we always say, we show and tell. Well, I'm going to do the telling part of it right now. "31 divisions in Belize at 6 minutes per division, because the sample that was shown on the program that Mr. Brackett showed on last Friday, the sample that was shown to create one division, and that division would have been much more sophisticated than anything that we have in Belize. But let's keep it simple. It took about between 5 and 6 minutes to create that particular division, or to run the program to create that particular sample that was shown. So if we take that sample as an example, okay, to run one division in Belize, it shouldn't take more than 6 minutes for a competent person to do that. Or if you want, let's exaggerate, give them twice as much time as the calculation showed. Give them 12 minutes per division. And you'll see the ludicrousy of what I'm trying to say right now. But let me just read it the way I have it set up here, okay? 31 divisions at 6 minutes per division equals 31 times 6 is 186 minutes. You divide that total amount of minutes into hours, which is 186 minutes divided by 60 equals 3.1 hour. Okay? Or, if you want to give them twice as much time as I indicated just now, you have 31 divisions at 12 minutes instead of 6 minutes, as was proven on the show, per division. That is 31 then multiplied by 12 would equal 372 minutes total to do all 31 divisions by one person. It is about one person, not a whole battery of staff that is always available 8 hours per day, 5 days a week for the whole year, for as many years as the Election and Boundary has been in existence. So there's a backup staff that is available and could do these things if the leader of the department don't want to sit down and do it herself. She's paid to do it, but let's say she takes one of her other junior personnel to do it. It shouldn't take more than one person to do it. And if you take more than one person to do it, that means that you could split the time in half. If you want to take, let's say, okay, give them twice as much time as what they say, right? It's still no amount to a day's work for 2 people in the department to do that task. As I said, 31 division at 12 minutes, which is twice as much per division, is 31 times 12 equals 372 minutes total. 372 divided by 60 minutes per hour gives you 6.2 hours. That's because we gave them twice as much time. Now remember? Because we're presuming that they're not as efficient as how we saw it being done on the show that we presented last Friday. Let's go further. So then, it would cost less to honor and uphold the Belize Constitution than misusing our treasury in paying our Prime Minister's expensive lawyers and friends in attempting to defend the indefensible. In other words, the money that he's paying to these top-notch lawyers to bamboozle and stop the process from being carried on. He could have paid 2 of your own employees. In fact, they are already being paid, by the way. Just give them the task to do the job. And, well, give them the money to buy the program, because, of course, you can't get the program for free. Okay? So allocate that money. Put our money duly where it belongs. Why is the bamboozling and petulant scofflaw Prime Minister refusing to comply with the Belize Constitution, Section 90? As PM, Belizean continues to say he don't have enough time to get the redivisioning done. How the hell you know I have enough time to get the redivisioning done? We prove to them that there are programs that can get it done as you blink your eye. So then, the lying jackal, scofflaw, this honorable Belize Prime Minister, Mr. John Belizean, has enough time to fulfill his constitutional mandate and obligation as appeared Prime Minister to do his job. Because, as noted in the above calculations on the Maptitude for Elections program, he has more than 6 hours available to him in one day to assign that task to somebody in the election department to get it done, if he really wants to have it done. Not only does he have 6 hours available, he has more than 6 days available. He has more than 6 weeks available. He has more than 6 months available to him before November of this year to get the damn work done. So get on with it and get it done, jackals. Are you back, Mr. Chairman?
Thank you, Mr. Brackett. People at home and abroad, it goes beyond redistricting. It has to do with our Constitution, and it has to do with the present government staying in power. You heard what my good cousin said. Let me go back to a tape we played just last week.
If the Supreme Court rules in the favor of the claimants, your client included, what's to happen next in terms of government being able to carry out this exercise on a national scale ahead of the pending elections?
The divisions can be redrawn. There is software, there's GIS software that literally puts the location, you have the address of every voter on a map, and there's softwares that will draw it for you in a fair way. It's not very difficult, and it can be done in time for a general election if somebody wanted to do it. Now, if you want to drag your feet, you could find a million reasons not to do it as well.
One of the excuses or
One of the reasons is that nobody can make him do it, according to him. That's what it's all about.
People at home and abroad, and gentlemen, the good attorney had said it. I have said it. I've shown the proof. Jules Vasquez has said it. In fact, he even mentioned that there are some people that are qualified to do that can do it, but they don't want to do it. And I will tell you why they don't want to do it. They don't want to do it because of this.
Oh, that's a big deal. We are mighty proud of that decision. I mean, ultimately, it's about independence. It's about sovereignty. It's about stating our right as an independent nation, asserting our sovereignty, asserting our independence, asserting our identity, our nationhood. It's about our people, and ultimately, the Queen was on our money for way too long. I know if we don't have the queen, we're going to have the king. It's an opportunity for us to do something different, for us to make a very clear statement to our people that we have the right to self-determination, we have a right to assert ourselves, we have a right to lead ourselves, and ultimately the agreement is that our two national heroes will be put on the money. The late Right Honorable George Price and the late Honorable Philip Wilson, man.
But people at home and abroad, that is not what they are after. As we have said here on many a nights, these people always do what?
Tell on themselves.
Tell
Tell
on
on
themselves.
themselves.
And each other as
No,
well.
no, I mentioned earlier
This is stupid.
three things I'm keeping in mind from the tape that I played with Mr. Vasquez. It's about our constitution, it's about the redistricting that can be done, and it's about privileged people, sons of past prime minister. I have said it nights and nights that for about 3 years now on this platform, the present government is trying to achieve the agenda of the late Right Honorable George Cadle Price, who wanted Belize independence
As a republic.
without a guarantee defense. And
Amen to
it
that.
is coming to pass. And I will show you again tonight how these ministers that are elected get together and they have conversation about it, and they don't even know when they are telling on themselves. I want you guys to listen keenly to what the Minister of Education has to say, and Foreign Minister. Listen very keenly to what he will say about our constitution and the redistricting.
Yeah, I think. I mean, listen, we've hired attorneys to look at that matter for us. So I'll leave that to them. They can provide legal counsel and advice to the government on that issue. What I can say is that the government, as you all know, um, has committed to ensuring that we do carry out redistricting. We were hoping that it could have been done in this first term. Unfortunately, that was not. We were not able to accomplish that. As you all know as well, we have embarked on an important constitutional reform process. We think that will be important as well, as a part of this entire process, so that Belizeans can look at the entire governance structure for our country and determine, what way we want to move forward. So I think having the two.
I will stop the tape right there.
A jackal is a jackal is
Gentlemen,
a jackal. All the time a
here
jackal.
you have the Minister of Education talking about Belize's new identity right from the horse's mouth.
Exactly.
What does the Constitution reform has to do with redistricting? They have no intention of doing it because they know that once they win this election, redistricting can go down the drain because what will happen? Constitution reform will take its place and you won't ever have to come back to it. Mr. Wade, I go to you.
Wow. Um, I would say this though. Who can stop? Who can stop this two-party system from doing the things that they always do to us and get away with it? It's only the people, only the voters,
And the Governor
um,
General
and the
under Section 30.
Yeah, but we must first realize that who gave her the job, right? Um, it is unconfirmed report that this man will tomorrow will call the date of election, and it will be March 12th. Unconfirmed report as of right now, right? He will announce it tomorrow, my people. So there you go. It's so sad. I'm just to show you that these are the kinds of people we're dealing with because, again, they can't trust that. There's no opposition who dare to tell them, um, yes, we have them in court to try to stop them, and it's an ongoing battle, and he will show us who he is tomorrow. Unconfirmed report though, but that's he will show us who he is. Stop me if you no could, man. I mean, call it, and because I want one next term, and I want that power, and I want to show you what and do to you for the next 5 years if you no elect me, right? I will show you. So those of you fanatics who is going to go and support them for a few dollars more, well, kudos to you, you know. Kudos to you because through our medium here, I will tell you, you know, you will have to live with it. You will have to live with it, unless if you're going up in space, right? So, nothing that you went out there and support her and then vote PUP all the way and think I want to get away from the carnage and catch you know. Do you think you'll see anything yet from this guy? Elect her again. Elect him again. And always, Mr. Chairman, and what when we say something, turn out to be true. Right? So look out for that tomorrow. They knew all along that motion that was filed on Friday, not to the courts, but between them and between attorneys, right? To put him off. They get frightened. They only sugarcoat the people. Oh yeah, well we're not gonna do it, right? We're not gonna do it because of the pressure where they catch them from other entity. But we not worry about them by the way got with a court. No, because at some point they don't have no money for fight we, and they will get vexed and they don't even pursue nothing. Well, I have news for him, right? So tomorrow, Mr. Man, you could go ahead and carry your mission out, right? We cannot. There won't be a coup to actually go there and cuff you up and you know do you where they want to do you. No, there will not be that because we Belizean, we are docile. We are not into that, right? So go right ahead as continue. You will get your mandate. You will get your power again, right? And all I want to have on a lead 2,000, 3,000 people and have power up on a yang yang again to do to the Belizean people if they elect you. But at the end of the day, all I say, if you elect these people, I sorry for you, right? Again, because you think things hard now. Wait, and you see the attitude of these people, especially the unelected guy. You hear how he talk, and he not afraid for nobody because the man will run this country. Little do a lot of who no know. Belizean what at home and about. The man will run this country. So he not afraid to say what he got to say to the Senate, to the people, to the courts, he could care less. So these are the kinds of people, and sadly, Mr. Chairman, these people demonstrate to the Belizean people who they are, what they are going to do, and who dare to stop us. Right? So let's see how far and how long they can do that to the Belizean people and get away with it. Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. but it goes beyond that. The redistricting that the government of Belize does not want to do is disenfranchising third party like the Belize Justice Movement, because gerrymandering will decide who will remain in power, and it will not give your party a chance to compete. This is why redistricting is so important, because if it is not done, it blocks any new coming party from taking part in a general election and having a fair feel of trying to win. As we all will know, the people in the diaspora is barred from taking part in election. There are no uh, sample ballots. There are no ballots sent abroad. And as you know, here we go again. The redistricting is barring some Belizeans the equal opportunity under the Constitution to put their votes where they think it will most belong. I'm saying this to say that if you can see where the present government has gone, he has made sure to marginalize the Belizean people by allowing us to become minorities while he builds his election roster by bringing in foreigners and giving them citizenship to take part in these general election. Mr. Brackett, I go to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And at the end of the day, with that type of process, we end up with the Guatemalans them who have 16 million people in their country pouring to our porous border and get facilitated by the same jackal to come and vote and outnumber we, if we won national elections so that they can end up taking away our patrimony. Well, as a matter of fact, not him taking it away. He is actually giving it to them. He's empowering them more than he empowers us. So basically, for all intents and purposes, I could say he's giving it to them rather than them taking it. He's facilitating them. He gives them all the credentials, all the support. He creates departments that looks after their affairs, while the departments that are already in place to look after our affairs, they negate any support to them. For example, such as our hospitals. In Orange Walk, for example, where his Orange Walk Central Division is based, all those people have gotten free medical. All their previous bills that they owed to the hospital was expunged, and now they have the NHI providing them with the support that he's not providing for Belize City and or Belize District and other districts. And he's telling the private hospitals, which are owned by them and his bodies, that those private hospitals can now bill the NHI group for private services that those private hospitals render at a much more expensive rate than KHMH and our clinics. So in other words, they are being put in a position to drain the money out of the coffers of the NHI and out of the medical institutions, and we go back to not having proper service. That's the kind of jackals we're dealing with. And a lot of people sit down, suck their finger, wait for them 2 beer, then plate of food on election day, then $50 or $100, Belize, by the way, have a little music played, dance around, enjoy that merrymaking and that food on festive day, and then for the rest of the year or the next 5 years, then turn around and they can't find a way for even get to pack a ramen. But everything was alright with them when they were getting that lead money and that lead party for their vote. They don't understand the value of their vote. I yield back, Mr. Chairman. Bunch of criminals.
Mr. Brackett,
Well,
the value of the Belizean vote, as I said before, is beginning to be a drip of water in the bucket, if they sell it or not, because we are minorities and we will be outnumbered maybe 2 or 3 to 1 from foreigners who was given amnesty along with the others who is coming across the border and without the knowledge of the people is also been facilitated. So the people who is supposed to hold our government accountable, who is in the diaspora, is not supportive of the Belizean people at home,
I beg to
because
differ,
they
Mr.
could
Chairman.
have
I'll,
brought
I'll,
the
I'll,
pressure.
I'll ask that you give me a chance to respond to that particular statement. When you
They
not,
could
not
have
right now,
brought
no
the
sir, not right now.
pressure.
When my turn to talk.
They could have brought the pressure on the government long before now. As I have said before, we are living in a designer system, and the designer system is working very well because you can see the rating of the government has fallen real bad to a low percentage. He has firemen, he has teachers, he has the CWU, he has the retired pension people, he has KHMH, and many other things that he has to deal with. So the popularity has fallen. But let me say this before I go to you, Mr. Brackett. You can see which direction a government wants to go from their action. And the action of this government is telling me, it's not only my belief or I believe, the action is telling me that the government will not do redistricting come hell or high water. And I will prove it again as to why. You know why? Any government who is going into a general election does not present to the House any bill to get hands out from foreign entity. A government who intends to go into a general election does not borrow any money from any foreign entity without they know for a fact that they would win the general election. And I just want to do this real quick, Mr. Brackett, before I go to you.
Today we have 10 law motions concerning the Republic of China Taiwan that we're tabling for approval. These are not new loans. What we're doing is varying the terms of existing loans to provide Belize with much needed cash flow relief. See, Madam Speaker, the government, through its bilateral economic cooperation and development program with Taiwan, has over the years benefited from several loans to assist in the development of Belize. 9 of these loans are with the Export-Import Bank of the Republic of China, totaling $191 million, and one is with Mega International Commercial Bank with a balance of $46 million. What we're doing is improve What we are now doing is improve the government's fiscal position and provide critical cash flow relief.
Now, people at home and abroad, like I just said, the government cannot pay its debt, but he says he has a strong economy. He is going to defer payments on 9 of those loans, and he will then ask the same people that he can't pay to give him another loan to make 10 loans. So when we listen to the present government speaking about the economy is doing well, it's a farce because it is leading us right back down the path to the super bun, and it will be bigger than the super bun when this government is through. Mr. Brackett, I go to you.
Thank you very much, sir. In the first instance, as regards to the last tape that you played, all they're doing is allowing themselves extra space to manipulate the numbers and for budgetary and government expenses. They should have been paying those loans when they were due. They should have been paying according to the schedules for the payment or repayment of those loans. So what they're asking the original loan holders now to do is, as they used to do with the super bond, roll it over. Give them another grace period. So they don't have to pay those loans now, so they can use the money that they would have used to pay those loans to spend again. And then next time, when they're supposed to pay, they will come again and ask for another deferral so that they can keep the cash flow going in a
Kicking the
positive
ball
direction.
down the road.
That's all is going on. And as of today, we now know that they have borrowed close to $2.5 billion, which is much bigger than the original super bond, which is still outstanding, by the way, under a different name. But Belizeans don't seem to be aware of that, or apparently could care less, because they don't worry about being taxed to death right now, to the point where they can't survive. So how can they actually be paying attention to what's going to happen to their children and grandchildren and other future generations with all these loans piling up? In fact, as a matter of fact, they went last Friday, while they were discussing the unpaid loans and the deferment of those loans, they went and asked for another loan of $200 million more. And the Prime Minister said the economy is so great. Why he's taking or trying to get the money? Because he says that it's a very low rate and it's available. So you're going to take it. He should have taken it and paid off the more expensive loans with the now cheaper loan. But that's not the economics that they practice. They practice about getting money from here, there, and everywhere for them to pretend that they're spending it or allocating it adequately, turn around, and the money end up in a foreign accounts abroad. And enough in friends then pack it at home. Belizeans don't care about malmanagement. Otherwise, they'll be raising Cain about these kind of activities. Because there's not just a few people that know. A lot of people know. But some are being stubborn, and some don't want to get put in the crosshairs, and therefore they just shut up their mouth, suck their finger, and sit on the side. Again, back to the point that you brought up earlier about the Belizeans abroad who are actually supporting the government and are the one to be faulted for the rural government that we have. Those Belizeans abroad didn't cast a vote for any of those jokers that we have there playing us out for a bunch of fools. So how can you, with a straight face, say that they, the Belizeans abroad, whose voting rights have been stripped of them and who have no ability to be able to play an effective role in questioning the government or demanding of the government any redress for themselves and or for their own people, because it is some of the same Belizeans at home that encourage the government and support the government to disband the Belizeans from abroad from participating in the political affairs of their country. They're only supposed to send the money at home and shut up and sit down and close them out. No ask no questions, no make no statements, no criticize nothing. Just bust your boss off, make your money, send it to your family or to the government or to whoever, and shut up. I told you guys before, the time will come when those same Belizeans from abroad will get fed up, tired, and will start looking after their own affairs instead of looking after their family affairs and the government affairs. Why? They will try to look after their own retirement, save their money for themselves and their own children or whatever, and forget about people who are so ungrateful to the point of not only just making bogus laws to strip us of our constitutionally entitled rights, but laugh about it. And when we complain, they talk about, well, we know the who, so we're not supposed to be interested and participating or nothing because at the end of the day, we know they live there, the one where they live there. Well, the one where they live there, they cause the damn trouble. They take the least small change and voting jokers will take advantage of them over a period of time. That day, they're supposed to go to and demand accountability. Educate them so that they can learn more and demand that they are accountable to demand from their politicians what's supposed to be done right. Don't bring it at the foot of the Belizeans abroad who are actually out there trying to bust their ass to get double income in order to send one of those income home while they have to survive outside with the other one. So I don't even have one job, much less being able to work two. But that's the level of appreciation that is being conveyed towards them, that the government is writing them out of the Constitution, of course, bastardizing our Constitution, because our Constitution already vested in those Belizeans the right as any other Belizeans, regardless of what part of the world they are. But the people play along with the joker game there, like what the Deputy Prime Minister was saying about new identity and this and that, and they have to bring new people into the country to help develop the country. The ones at home who have the right to vote and who are the beneficiaries of both the government largesses and the largesses of the people from abroad are the ones to be faulted. It's unreasonable and unfair to even intimate the idea that the people who are being dispossessed of their right to vote should be blamed for what's going on back there. That's untenable. But again, everybody has their right to their own ideas, opinions, and conclusions, and a right to communicate and propagate them, whether right or wrong. And that's what the Constitution of our country says. So I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Wade?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well said there, Leonard. Well said.
The facts are the facts, and they should be undeniable.
It's a sad state of affairs in this country. I could remember back then the Dean Barrow guy who was prime minister at the time. Oh yeah, when an election was coming around. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we have a lot of money, and yes, we will do this, and we will. At one point, he had an idea about refining the petrol instead of selling it. Yeah, he was thinking about a refining factory, so the petrol do have to go and all the gold he has and everything. And right after that, he start borrowing $1 million a day. Barrow, right?
Extraordinary, Mr.
You understand what I'm saying? So this guy, anything new with this guy? Anything new with either one of them?
Mr. Weir, it's so sad. The man came in politics without no money, and now he retired from politics with so many millions of dollars, over $28 million according to the last report. Tell us stupidness, but he had, but for we ICJ issue is an ironclad case. Damn traitors.
It's so sad to see, right, how this two-party system has this country, Mr. Chairman and Leonard, and whenever a third party come along, the things they do, not even the media want to associate themselves with a third party. Look at Love FM. Look at Channel 5. Look at Channel 7. Do these guys ever try to reach out? No, they're busy right now making the money, the taxpayers' money with the commercials and the hands out and the promises. They don't want to hear a damn thing from at least myself, us, the Belizean justice, because we don't have the money and then the promise to them, right? We don't have the money to give them. Now we're not in charge of the taxpayers' purse to give to them all the goodies. No, we don't. So they don't want to hear from us, right? Is that fair in disseminating information to the nation? Is that fair? Now, for me, I see the pattern. I see the road that Belize is going through and where it will end up because their ultimate goal is to take Belize into a republic. The Belizean culture is no more, Mr. Chairman. We see all the little pop-up villages in the south, in the west, in the north. And who are these people? Who are these people? You have a newly elected man from born in Honduras. The amount of money the taxpayers pay to elect that man, which put a drive by this present PUP government to get that man elected, right? Disregard, ban Belizean from the south. They didn't want to hear about these people, no, because these people may not have had their agenda. But they went tooth and nail to elect Osborne Martinez. And all the things they say about, oh, we said this for the man, and the man are Belizean, and this and that, and you shouldn't say this for the man, and then you worry about them one way we didn't want, right? Not worry about them because they will come around, and then he start to pop up villages and villages and villages and take over from the man that passed away, Mr. May he rest in peace, Mr. Espat, because that was his agenda too. He started it, and it's the UDP did it, so now you see what's happening now, right? Like I said, Mr. Chairman, pretty soon we will be obsolete, right? Absolutely, they don't need us now. Now I say this again, and I've said it.
Mr. Weird, one of them dared to tell you that right to your face.
Yes, exactly. I have witnessed that right in front of my face. Publicly, he told me that, right? Rudy, no worry, no brother Wade. You could go and solicit a vote from Roaring Creek and Kamalote and the Blackway, but I don't need to. I'm going to Valley of Peace, I'm going to Armenia, I'm going to St. Margaret, and I will get my votes from SETI, and I will get my votes. So I don't need the black votes, brother Rudy could have them. Whether it was a joke he told me, but he, for me, he proved his point. But what I'm saying is that, these people that we are getting in the country, you see where they come from. Republic. They know about republic. Do me and you and Greg know about any republic in this country? We culture? Do we know about republic? Style of government? That is telling you something. Who know this see this thing, man? Huh? That is telling you something. Who? I know the man said we stupid and fool. Maybe that's he's proving it to us, right? So as per the situation that's going on in our country, Mr. Chairman, you mentioned the firefighters, the teachers, the hospitals, the public servants, and all the government entities are in an uproar right now, right? Yet, these people, Mr. Chairman, like to play, they're going to borrow so much millions of dollars and listen. For what? To pay the teacher? To pay the firefighters? Huh? Look on the people he fights. Fight the stevedore, the black alone. Who did a stevedore? Who go offload the badge? Who does that? Okay? And you say fight and the things they do to the stevedores. You see what they do to the south side Belize City? Ain't that telling you something? You see what they do to our retirees, right? Do we see that? The nurses, Carl Hushner's don't walk out. Do they care about that? So my point is, all this money they are borrowing, Mr. Chairman, none of it going to this cause that the country is suffering right now, right? You hear the black representative from Mr. Colonel Hyde, what he says, we have a lot of money. We don't need, the government is rich because of Bolito. And oh, money, we don't have to worry.
And
Why can't you pay?
and gold and everything else that he was stipulating.
Yes, Mr. Man. That who so stupid on it, on fanatics. On you got a lot of them, you know, Leonard and Greg, Mr. Chairman, lot of fanatics. Nothing these guys do, you know, they could hang them on their neck, and they would never say, you know, you're bad for the hang me. No, you go to hang me. UDP, PUP, same thing. Aren't we tired, my people? Aren't we tired of this? And don't forget, you know, when we continue to support this criminality and this corruption, this corrupted individual, you know, they affect the whole country, you know. Not only you. If that mean only you, listen, Mr. Chairman, and my mouth would be shut up, right? But I'm fighting for the one who don't like what they do, man, right? And the one then who not gonna voice or who afraid for voice their voices for whatever reason, right? This two-party system taking Belize down to the road of destruction. And pretty soon, Mr. Chairman and Leonard, people like me and you, I know racist, you know, so not think a lot of, some might think so, you know, be white talk truth, right? Because it's playing out right in front of our eyes. Pretty soon, the little bit of people like me and you, Greg, might well, with family, will just march right out of this country and left this country for who they really wanted to be serviced, you know, to be left for, right? Got only a little bit left now. Then they are doing a very good job. They're doing a very good job in ethnic cleansing, right? Very good job. And as for the diaspora, right? As one, right? I had never attended a townhouse meeting at one of these jackals once I was in. Why? I had my reasons, right? But my thing is, everything that's coming, I have said it before, this country is run by 80 to 85% run by the diaspora on a daily basis. Believe it or what, you could think whatever you want to think about it, but that's my analysis of that. If the diaspora put a hole in not sending anything to Belize, to their family and friends, this country will. If people start to die on the street for hunger, will die on the street. If the diaspora put a block there, nothing going out, no ship, no container, no barges, no money, no boxes that will get every day, nothing to the hospitals, nothing. What will you think will happen? So, past and present government uses that, right? But they blindfold the diaspora, fool them, and they never stand up to these jackals and hyenas and demand, although they cut off their voting rights. But they still public over here, so yeah, well, the diaspora is okay with that. How the hell the diaspora could be okay when you cut off their voting rights? And nobody, it's a mental thing, you know. These people are so smart. So it's okay with, so they have to feel good. Some of them, you know what, how much land you want? The ones them, you want to open up a little real estate, something, you want to sell some land, or you want to garnish something, just continue doing what you're doing for me, right? And it'll be all right. That's the problem with the diaspora. They are not vocal. Like for myself, I consider myself very, very, very vocal, although I don't have crap. But they cannot blind me, right? That's what I got to tell the diaspora, right? Cut off then. Cut off what you're sending and see where this country will go. But you're the hurry, say, Iron State, you. Voting rights, you got it 110%. And everything back to you. You could come and do anything here because you're a banned Belizean. You could come, do that, and you will see where this country will go. Right? You think any ship will come in here and bring the containers loaded with goods? Huh? You think the ATM machine is going to work? You think the the cash, Western Union and all the MoneyGrams, and you think they're going to work? Where the hell you think that has them floating? Money from the diaspora. Not from Guatemala, not from Salvador, not from Honduras. Hell no. Right? You see what they did with want to reform the Constitution? Well, oh yeah, we're going to educate the diaspora. Right? Knowing damn well the damn diaspora don't. You see, I get vocal because it's true. A lot of people don't want to hear these crap. Right? Oh, Mr. Wade, you talk crap, right? No damn well, and they make that a big campaign. Right? Knowing damn well the damn diaspora don't have that voting rights. Huh? Who does that? Well, yet we laugh and grin and it's okay. Yeah, all right. You know, come a big town hall meeting and, oh yeah, the diaspora attend a town hall meeting and it's okay with the bull crap. Come back here, oh, it's okay with the diaspora. So I blame the diaspora to be laughing in their face, and then you leave there, they come back and do the same shit to your people. Right? Take a stand, you want to come over here? No, you can't come. You have a town hall meeting? Shit, you alone will be at that damn town hall meeting. Right? I'm not going to attend. Right? Why don't you do that? What to encourage them? Right? To do the crap they do. Right? So that's why I would never have went to a damn town hall meeting with any one of these jackals and thieves, and because they wouldn't want to hear what I got to say. They'll pack up and leave that damn town hall meeting, right? My thing is, guys, right, is that the only person that can save this country is the people. If they don't want to save it, they will get what the hell they vote for. Okay? Voting a PUP, you think you will get anything better for the next 5 years? You know, eat dog it, but you might end up, they do that just like China and all the other places doing, right? The little suburbs and stuff. Eating dog, right? You vote for the UDP saying crap because they do not have a vision. They don't see nothing further than the power. That's all they want. They don't see you after you vote for them, and it's proven itself over and over and over. So if you're not tired of that, go right ahead. And I'll leave this, say this to before I go. There will be a new entity for change. Belizean Justice Movement. If you want a change, support them. If not, there you go. With people putting up their heart and their soul to save this damn country. Vocal people like myself, right, that want to do right by my people, want to see them live good, just like Brisenio and his family. I want to see you live good too, right? Just like Musa and his family. I want to see you live good too, right? Don't have to scrape up penny to go and buy a damn ramen. No, shouldn't work. Need to stop, and only you can do the change. Sorry about that. I get so, because it's truth. Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. But as we said here in Belizean Affair, we show and tell. And I thank you for expressing yourself, which in reality, you are telling the truth. Because we do have cronyism and corruption in our government and governments all over the world.
Who turned their blind eyes to things like that?
But
only fanatics. Turn their blind eye.
We look at the hiring of the Auditor General, and As to now, nobody knows her qualification, and we look again at the Attorney General, who is a lawyer and who is supposed to have other lawyers, but yet still he can't represent the country. So why hire these people if they are not qualified? Because then you are taking away from other people who can
Exactly.
take up these jobs description. And I believe this is a cause of why Belizean migrate, Belizean who studied abroad in the UK and other foreign entity refuse to come back to Belize because there's nothing here for them. But to prove what I'm saying, I want the people at home and abroad
Greg,
to hear this
Greg,
just
Greg,
before I go to you,
Greg,
Mr. Brackett.
Greg. Too many
Yes,
subjects are
sir.
being changed. Too many outstanding points, and too many different points are being raised, and I don't get a chance to weigh in on the previous one.
Go ahead, sir.
Uh, I'm not going to be long anymore because I just wanted to
Go ahead, sir.
make a stipulation, and that is that it is well known that Belizeans at home and abroad subscribe to our political perspectives, and we take those perspectives with us wherever we go, such that in the diaspora, which is not a monolith, by the way, so if anybody gets that impression, they'll be, getting the wrong impression. In the diaspora, you have people who are of the PUP political party, supporters, and officers who leave the country when their party is not in power. The same thing happens with the UDP. In the diaspora, you have Belizeans who are UDP, who are supporters, and officers who, when their party is not in power, they are out in the diaspora, whether it be in the United States, Canada, England, Jamaica, wherever, dozens of different places. And in the diaspora, just as in Belize, you have independent-minded people who subscribe to none of the two mass party and gives both mass party hell when they have a chance. You have those same kind of people out here in the diaspora. So, for anyone to have the impression that the diaspora is a monolith and or the diaspora works together, for decades that's been tried. It has not happened because people that come out to the diaspora hold their own original mass party perspective dearly. Sometimes they don't even mingle among each other, all because of difference in political affiliations and or perspectives. They argue with each other on the internet like more than the ones that are left home, as a matter of fact. The ones that are left home, they don't go to public meeting or they don't go out on the streets and have any public debates or arguments or whatever. They have these conversations when there is politics going on, such as an election for town board or an election for city for the village council and or an election for the area representative. That's when they start putting out their claws and scratching at each other. As compared to out here in the States, they come with the same mindset. They are PUP, they stay as PUP. They are UDP, they stay as UDP. So don't have the impression that it's a monolith and therefore they should all just stop supporting the government. Some of these people do support the governments in power, as I said earlier, when their respective government or mass party government is in power. And they don't help or support the country as much when the other government, mass party, individuals are in power. But if they stop supporting their own family members at home in times of emergency and outside of emergency, just casually as many do, if they stop supporting their family members, You think the politicians, they will stop it? Or they will stop rape the treasury? Or stop take the mass amount of lands for themselves and sell to other cronies and friends and send to other foreigners? They make their money by disposing of the patrimony. Any asset that the government have as politicians, they dip into it, take and use it and misuse it and abuse it for their own heart content. They don't care about the people. So what the politicians are doing can be brought to the foot of the diaspora. When the diaspora is not a monolith and they never see eye to eye or work or cooperate with each other, other than when there's an emergency in our country because we all want to jump in and help. If it ever happened, I remember when this platform first started, and in fact, on our platform, I had mentioned that we were at some of us, I shouldn't even say we because we will intimate the very same thing I'm trying to dispel. Some of us had agreed that we were going to wage economic warfare against the government unless they go and deal with that Amendment 7 issue, which shouldn't have to take more than a day. And we were giving them basically up to a year to get it done if they really wanted to do it. But we never implemented that effort because at the same time the COVID came into play. And just after that, because before the COVID, we had an economic crisis in the country under the Barrow administration. Then came the COVID just about when the Barrow administration was about to demit. And the country was already in a dire straits. We could not implement that economic warfare against the country because in effect we will be waging that economic warfare, depriving the government of money, but depriving our people, our family members, friends and loved ones first. Because it is from them that the government get the money. In taxation and in sales of goods, and without that money, that the people may suffer. They know the government officials there, all they have their own separate companies when they hustle money out of. Let them have big cane farming. So they have, like the Prime Minister, have cattle ranching. They have a telephone company. They have all these politicians, they go into politics without a penny in their pocket, like I said before, as regards to Mr. Barrow and others. And they come out as millionaires if they serve one term, and multi-millionaires if they serve 2 terms. The only the Belizean average person who can make a hustle for themselves, or no got no. In fact, even the teachers, them, the civil servants, them, are under duress, they're under pressure, they're not getting salaries, they got to pay their bills. What does the diaspora have to do with that? Then people have to get off of them butt and stop sitting on their hand and do exactly what you were saying, Mr. Wade, as they were now currently doing. But they don't do it enough to show that they are serious and they have the power and they could bring the government down when they need to. The officials them in those unions, they get suborned. They give them a piece of land somewhere, or they give them a leave promotion, and the rest of the union members, they stay in the wilderness suffering. But it's a long conversation. It's a two-way conversation. Our story is at the end of it already, and so therefore I just need to stop my rant in defense of my position. That is that I consider myself to be an independent-minded person, but I do support UDP mostly, the PUP somewhat when they are doing the right thing as a government, because any government of the country is my government, whether they're UDP, PUP, or whatever. So in those respects, I have to give only space, right? But I not bring or care water for none of them. I flag the UDP as much as I would flag the PUP and flag any other person who screw around and mess around with my country and my people. That's who I am and what I'm about in life. I yield back, Mr. Chairman. Thanks for the privilege to participate.
Thank you, Mr. Brackett. But again, gentlemen and people at home and abroad, to prove the point of what is happening in the country, as I was stating before, it's a monopoly between the government when it comes to hiring to job. Certain individual is being used time and time over to do certain things, and the award is great. Let me play a short clip for you, the people at home and abroad, to understand?
In equally shameful, but symbolically more shameful, the Attorney General always has to seek legal advice. So when Eamon Courtney writes to Anand Ramlogan, and we have the letter, when Eamon writes to Anand Ramlogan, he says, I act as attorney for the Attorney General. Man, that's just sad. Our Attorney General needs an attorney. He is an attorney. He is the government's attorney. But he has to get an attorney. And then it's even more sad when the Attorney General is represented by the former Attorney General, Magali Marinyong, in the recent case and in other cases as well. But in the recent case defending the compulsory acquisition of State Bank, Magali Marinyong, the former Attorney General, was acting for the Attorney General.
Wow.
So I'm just saying, like, what is going on? But it's a classic PUDP setup. So Anthony Sylvester is the Attorney General.
Yeah.
But in the classic PUDP setup, let us hire our friends. Let us hire, because only then you could trust. You can't trust no other attorney. And like Dean Barrow, you say, well, those attorneys are the best. Well, Eamon and Magali are the best too. I'm just saying, so Anthony Sylvester, I don't know who makes the decision that he'll hire these attorneys. I presume he makes it. However, it is a sad and desperate state of affairs when our Attorney General, these are high, and can we show a letter from Courtney Coy, LLP? These are high matters of state. When a private law firm has to write, we write on behalf of our client, the Attorney General of Belize. That is pathetic. What kind of country you, brother? Your Attorney General need an attorney? Man, and these are not cheap attorneys.
Yeah, and it's the taxpayers.
Oh, the taxpayers? Where are the taxpayers? Oh, not business. We do this with further money in your interest, no worry.
Yeah.
You think it's cheap? So they are guilty of the same thing they accused Dean Barrow of. They justifiably accused him of. Except these.
So people at home and abroad,
quickly,
and gentlemen,
is finishing quickly. On the last statement that Jules made, he's totally out of order with the last statement, because he's saying that Dean Barrow did something that the PUP are now complaining about that he did, and that when he did it, it was wrong. No. Any Belizean lawyer, whether it be Eamon Courtney, Dennis Barrow, to whom they were referring to when Dean Barrow was giving Dennis Barrow the job to represent the government had to have a lawyer to represent them because they were being sued by Mr. Ashcroft, who is a litigator, in chief. And he gets litigators from England to come and back him up. So we had to provide some litigators either from home, as in the case of Dennis Barrow, or from the Caribbean, as where Mr. Briceño like do, or from England, where Mr. Briceño and Mr. Ashcroft like do. Belizeans should be able to get jobs too if they're qualified. And in that case, they were qualified. But they never gone and get Mr. Courtney. Otherwise, you know me and say nothing. Mr. Barrow gone and get his brother, who was a foremost judge in the Caribbean Court of Justice area. So we had a competent person doing the job. But in this instance, now these guys are trying to hire each other to defend an indefensible situation, which is to not comply with the Constitution and to fight poor people who have to take their own money to fight against them to try and force them to comply with the Constitution. That is dastardly. The money when I spend on Courtney and Koi could have pay the people who own the software or buy some of the software and get the damn job done without any hesitation. They still have enough time, like I say, as of right now, between now and November. They could take 6 hours and get it done. They could take 12 hours and get it done. They could take 1 day. They could take 1 week. They could take 1 month. They could take 6 months and still get the damn thing done and stop this shenanigan and this circus where they play dancing around in circle and not complying with our Constitution. Bunch of scofflaws.
Thank you, Mr. Brackett.
Thank you for the privilege, sir. I'm sorry that I gone overboard.
The tape I played it for a specific reason. As I said, these are the individuals who are always representing the government and getting the biggest piece of the pie. All these individuals, like Mr. Courtney, also has to do with the people's business in the Senate. And he is one of the ones who also
And Mr.
sits
Koi,
on
his
top
law
of that
partner.
for loans.
His law
And I
partner, Mr.
want
Koi
you
as
to
well.
listen to what he had to say.
They're a bunch of
You know,
mobsters.
Madam President, as Senator Coe say, who will represent Belize or Taiwan? I'm not surprised, you know. One party we got two head, you know, then party crack. That's why then they're off track. Stay on track, my boy. Stay on track. You were saying, Senator Perfit, that you don't believe we. It reminded me of what the Right Honorable Said Musa told Dean Barrow. Mind over matter. We don't mind because you don't matter. The IMF, the IDB, the IRBD, the ICDF, they believe us. You don't matter. We represent 32,000 people last time. You just sent it.
People at home and abroad,
One of the biggest slung in the Senate.
I played
In fact, he is the biggest slung in the Senate.
I played the video to specify something.
Man.
This is one of the attorneys who represent the AG. And this is somebody who is getting paid out of those same monies that are borrowed. So it really don't matter, as he said. Mr. Wade, the closing, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Leonard. It's always a pleasure. And you played something there, you know, and like I've said, you know, you see where correspondent work between attorneys and thing. The court have nothing to do with what anybody decide, you know, right? The matter not there at the court, but then they work. They got all the say in the country, then they talk for the country, and they talk for Briseno, letter and letter, right? And things. So I urge the Belizean people, both at home and abroad, state your claim. Send your claim, send your affidavit to the court so the court could hear us. Hear we know. Right? You see how they battle and thing within the right? That's our catch three, you know. Right? Then I respect the constitution, then I respect the court. Right? And that's a big deal, yeah. Right? You know, I call on the Belizean people, man. State your claim, tell your representative that you want redistricting done before the next general election, right? And do it quick because they plan to call it by unconfirmed report again by March 12th. Your Prime Minister, Johnny Briseno, might announce it tomorrow, right? In the House, right? So they after that, and they will get it any way, any shape. Who dare to stop them? They don't worry about the Constitution, which is what we are fighting for. Respect the Constitution, honor the Constitution, and do the redistricting, right? And you know, it's a shame, you know, to see the state of affairs in our country, right? We deserve better, right? My people, like I say again, election is around the corner. If you want a change, the Belizean justice movement will be on that ballot, right? They will be the only change. You hear what that man says, the unelected guy in the house there, but that's the God of this country right now, right? He run this country. Let's listen to that man. On that note, I want to thank our viewers and listeners, both at home and abroad. And it's always a pleasure to sit in your company, Mr. Chairman, and Leonard, you know, we're true fighters for democracy, right? And in fact, we are the opposition. We are the opposition. We three here. So I'm sorry, went over, Leonard, went over 5 minutes, but, you know, 6 minutes, you know. But all thanks to all those who view us, both at home and abroad, and whichever time, you know. Thanks for the support. Take it away,